lie ever told. The biggest lie ever told in the centuries and decades we have seen is that twasa impilo yakho izoba right or twasa izinto zakho zizobona zizohamba kahle. Ever told. Well, the biggest lie ever told in the centuries and decades we have seen is that twasa impilo yakho izoba right or twasa izinto zakho zizobona zizohamba kahle. It is what has always been used as a tagline to actually try and influence abantu ukuthi bathwase, to make them think that once usutwasile, it's all butter and cream. And I also had the similar expectations, because that was what I was also told, that no, all these struggles that you are facing and everything else comes to a halt, and immediately nje masobuyele ekhaya impilo yakho ihamba kahle, konke kuhamba ngolayini, uzosebenza abantu kukhanye. And that was one big lie. It took me a full year to understand ukuthi ngubani mina as ngiyinkomo yahlaba. And little did I understand uma ngiphume ephehlweni, I just thought to myself that sengicedile ukuthwasa manje ngisangoma, I cannot wait to get home, carry on with my life la ngigcine khona. So coming to this chapter, it is one that made me realize the power of Idlozi in my life and actually grounded me in my walk of spirituality. So without further ado, let us resume with chapter 10. Or rather, whatever you had acquired or accumulated or within your life, your friends, your partner, before uliphuza uliphalaza, you lose all of those things uma usuqedile uliphuza uliphalaze. I thought that was a lie. I thought me and my boyfriend, we are going to stand the test of time. We're going to be the ones that are going to, I thought my friends were going to be there for me. I thought my community was going to be, accommodative, or rather appreciative of having someone that is a sangoma in the area. But little did I know, Uguti, our communities are very misinformed in light of Isangoma, and there's a lot of stereotype. And it didn't make things better because I was labeled a fake Sangoma, I was labeled a microwave Sangoma, I was labeled all of these things, and even I was starting to see the cracks in the friendships that I thought I had in my life then, I was friendships started literally fading away. It was no longer that case, the conversation was different, even in my relationship it was different. What I want to make you understand is that the old you, what ties you down to who you were before ulphuza ulphalaza, literally that part and everything that walked with that person dies along with that day ulphuza ulphalaza. We learned the hard way because we are so stuck on holding on to things that made us, that knew, that were familiar to us. We're so stuck on holding on to people, thinking that we cannot survive by all of them. And literally, Idlozi will teach you to let go of being codependent on things, situations, and relationships. And I learned that the hard way because my first year as Sangoma was a very tough and a very hard one. I was literally brought down like a building falling, like the Twin Towers. I lost everything and everyone and anything that I had. The only guaranteed people that I had in my corner were my mother and my brother. So coming home was an exciting part of my journey. I could not wait for people to finally see who I am, and that thing Twasile, and walking around with beads. It's just was fascinating for me because people will be coming to you and your go and everything in between. And the first rejection I experienced was from my dad and and his brother and his partner at the time. I remember the first time I went to visit him. Kwaqeda ukunizulu elikhulu that day, and my dad's partner at the time, she was like, ngishilo ngathi uyeza unkanyamba uhamba nemvula, and I laughed, ngafika egeyidini, I greeted them properly, but you could just tell that I looked like someone who had the plague on me. My dad's body language was speaking volumes. From someone that brought me up to seeing him reject me was very painful. I was sitting in the kitchen and he fetched a newspaper, and that partner of his at the time, so it was a bit of a painful situation for me, and but I thought because it's something new to them and maybe they need to warm up to me, and with time everything will move. So I was like, I'm back, let me pick up where I started, with my friends, with my partner. And the crazy part is that whenever we would go into the malls, people will see me used up with beads. Here's a madlozi. Bekungakabi isikhathi sama-mask leso sikhathi. Here's a madlozi. Umntwana omuhle kanje. Abangisangoma vele. And my mom akathatha imishini. Mama akathatha imishini, like abatshengisa ngazojala umntwana wami ngiyacala ukubonisa ngoma ngalo. Yeah, because she felt I was being discriminated a lot, and that was the truth. I was just being discriminated in malls. I was being discriminated in public areas. I was being discriminated. You'd find you doing shopping, utinda something, and someone is coming after you, and you get into a taxi, people looking at you funny. Plus, you still smell like a lupetla, and I tried, to adapt a lot and have some sense of normalcy and really integrate ubungoma bami to who I was as Michelle Udimpo and incorporate the two. That's what I basically tried to do. I tried to incorporate the two, So days went by, weeks went by. In terms of my spiritual home, I just, it was what it is. The relationships were no longer that, exciting. And loko komunye gasala naye, that being Twasa naye, her energies were just, overwhelming towards me. She was just something else. Looking back now, I'm like, and the last time I went there, ngangiyothatha some of my things, and and there was still that bitterness of that I left before her. But all essence ngangena kuqala mina. She was there mangena ephehleni, yena bekangakangeni nokungena ephehleni. She was stringing along my arms. So I mean, and it was what it was, and vele ngangisengasancengi because sengicedile ukuthwasa, what else do I have to keep on coming to you guys for? That was me, because I felt that what the hell, but the relationship was not there, but it was not a we are family type of relationship, but I decided to hold my own and decided to keep it moving, ngingenela indumbeni ngiyaphahla, ngangishunqisa impepho la because of things we were told eXhoseni. Ngangishunqisa impepho, ishuqa impepho kungasaziboni kwamina la indumbeni, thinking I'm summoning all my ancestors. Kethi nje ngilayita amakhandlela ngikhuluma namadlozi ami, amakhandlela vele doing their own thing. Ngingazwa nix from idlozi kuthule ukuthi no dream, no nothing. I remember because Mangbuya, it was closer to my birthday, so I was turning 23 that time. So hayi bana uthule ukuthi tu bathandekayo, I could just feel that you understand, but I did that for a while. You know what, cut, it's now time to live. I served my time ngihambile ngayenza izinto zeni bogogo, and nina manisifila ukuthi ni ready ngokulungisa impilo yami, then he'll do so, and bese approach ku December. So ngangikhiya vele indumba yami, because ekuphehlweni you are told ukuthi indumba yakho fuze ihlezi ikhanyile, you know. So I was like kuneblockmas la mangizile, because I would buy those huge candles you'd buy at Westpac, or those ones you get from Sheet Streets, you know, those humongous ones. So I would buy those huge candles. You light them on a Monday, ngiyavutha Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, maybe nje Thursday selichithekile lapha. I wouldn't be bothered by izinto zamadlozi. Ngakhiya ngafaka iwiki yami, ngathi umuntu wami ngisondele, sagroova nomuntu wami. Ayebo. Nobuhlalo nayogida, because with the beads I was just wearing ubuhlalo balana noba seyinyaweni oba sentameni. Yeah, bengifaka noba sentameni, but bengafaki all these things like Mpho, because mangifika at Mpho 2, imfihlo lezi ngangizifaka eSnake Park. Kwathiwa mazivula ugobela wazivula wathi na le mithi sifake lapho be actually bekuthi isibophe isibambe, you know, isivale. Basically it would prolong my stay, because initially ngibuye ekhaya July, but if ngangisese Snake Park I was supposed to come home in December or November, somewhere along those lines. But it didn't happen that way, because Lami felt that, dude, I told you first day that Mtanam is not here to build a castle with you guys, just give her the necessities and I got this, you know. But they failed to listen to that, so they wanted to prolong my stay, they wanted to do all these things, and etc. And even with my coming back at home, I was deprived of a normal ceremony, because it was Lami Lavela before coming back, and it told my aunt or my gobela at the time that ngicela ungibuyise at a certain time ngingene ngesikhathi esiso wenze 1 2 3, but my gobela was like, no, I will do things how I want. So mina ekhaya ngingene emini nje, like it was around 11 and 11 or 1 angisakhumbuli, but bekusemini. Everyone was like, you know, umuntu bakabuye ubuye emantatha ngokwazi kwami vele kuyisiko, but mina abantu bebangithasisa, they just felt they just wanted ukungilaya, you know. And ngangena ekhaya ngaloyo mini ngihamba ngamadolo neshidi lami, you know, and bekunganamuntu ongugela umuntu, angisho umuntu wakho is carried by a virgin. Yayingekho i-virgin bathandekayo, you know, because umuntu waye-virgin was ingane yegobela wami, but wayengekho ayovakasha. So the only people that were there were like my gobela's helper and abantu bashaya, and there was no virgin amongst us. So I was like, no, ngizozibambela into zami. Ngangingena ngishikuriza ngedolo, ngivarekile, ngiphethe isitsha sami esinomthuntu wami ngaphakathi. Ngahamba ngedolo ngaze ngafike entumbeni. Ngazingenela mina, ngazitshela ngathi ngayiqara le ndlela inzima ngaze ngafikela ekugcineni. Ngiqale ngezinkukhu, but manje ngiqeda ngifike ekhaya, and nothing will stop me, because gangseng developed that independency. I knew that if Umsezane was there, things were gonna be a bit different. But it didn't happen like so. Ngangena, you know, and there were also, you know, Indubengaga, all that. It was just one of those things. Well, my mom told my Indubayam, so it was a problem na corner, because they were like, no, Gubu no meant to, and my mom was like, no, this is my only daughter. And le ayenzile inkulu for thina sonke. This le ngioyimisa is not just for yena, but it is for centuries. Excuse me, for centuries and centuries to come. So I will give my daughter the first class. Yeah, the first class. But it was, you know, it was a bit of you know. But anyway, asikolapho. So like ezinye izinto zazingendlela ezingayo, and I locked my doom, carried on with my life. So even with the type of beads I wore, Wagu there's a history behind why ezinye izinto ngingazisebenzisi, and ezinye izinto mina zange ngibuye nazo ekhaya because of sasizenze, even epheshethi bekusekuyi thasa qeda hamba. So ezinye izinto into eyiningi, the foundations of ukuba isangoma, I got that from Mpho 1, but Mpho 2 kwakusekuyi, so ngabuya vele sengifakile iphandla zami. I was just complete ngaleyo ndlela, obviously ngangigabiwe, all these things, so it was what it was. So I was trying to live my life, yo bathung and Shem Magobela and that they were like, I felt they were better towards me, like, because I remember in Mpho, before I was Mpho Badimo, I was Mpho. I was doing beauty, I was doing makeup, I had a Facebook page, Mpho, I was educating on beauty and all these things. So I would tell them, because I have a page, and after this, what happened, Ubaform decided to go and do nails. I was not there, but he decided to also venture into those things. So there were those type of people that they didn't believe in everything that I am. And I don't know if they're going to come across this video, but you know yourselves, guys, niyazazi, being pete kabuhlungu to a certain extent, because being feel ukuthi ni aningithathi kahle and aningisheli into eziright every time bekuba nalet ingekelo phansi, and the only best person ekuthwaseni was Ubaform, because like it happens everywhere. Emaphupheni, there's always be that teacher's pet, and then you just but it is what it is. So I felt that even though I was saying Twasile, they would call me and tell me that I'm gonna get gang raped by people, or all of these things because the funniest part of all that is she called me and she was like, Unkomo no pai bala izirukom wozuzobalanda. That is when I looked at my mom and was like, girl, if your great grandparents left at this house and decided to go back there, bazo gibela iuba because I'm not doing this again. Sengiyigqibela nomuntu wami kumnandi kuyebo, yes, kudihana nadihala lusavani dlala abantwana, sibuye busuku sivuka amadlozi, sifihla singatshela abadlali. Kuyidrama naye umbona ukuthi bakahamba, yes umbamsaka isangoma ayikho into engizongenza yona manje. And it was just crazy, and we're partying, but the abuse was getting out of hand. Shaiwa. And I'm laughing because, man, it was in the end, but it served its purpose, because Gangi Pumagu this relationship, Gangi Shaiwa. Remember, Ngamshia in my flat isn't just like exactly where I sing a step, but Gangi Shovele, Umoshunkomo really goes an extra mile to destroy your life. Lalelan pathandeka ngangishaya ngigandwa awunamafethu simawuthalandelela, there's nothing like ebambekayo emva kwawo. Usathi sahleli, and wayemuntu enesikhwele, he would tell me ukuthi when we're out ngangihlezi ngibheke phansi, because he would say to me that mangibheke phezulu ngibheka ama-o wami, so there and there hwabalala empama ngibona ibani. Oh, my disco lati, and it would get so bad. It would get bad. Like the abuse was out of hand. I don't want to lie to you. Kumbula ngage some ndawo kwakuyi something like that. Wanganda ngihamba with my sister-in-law at the time and my friend at the time. Wanganda acishe ukungilahlela kwenye indawo egcwele amadodi, because I think naye I told you that he had his own spiritual baggage. So it's like we brought out the worst in each other, and some level of respect between us. And the last part that I knew that I'm going to leave this relationship in a coffin, because I also felt pregnant for him after that, and I told my mom, and I told my mom that, you know what, I'm pregnant and this is the situation. My mom was like, you're not having this man's child. ngiyabona ukuthi awuhlelanga kahle. Is this the future that you want with this person? And at the time I was thinking to myself that this is the man that I want to spend the rest of my life with. He experienced my journey. He experienced everything. Cause I mean, why is it nearby now, you guys? You know, why is it as a values I would assist him, give him C's, you know, I would help him, step him, take him out of the jail, you know, and my mom was like, you're not having this child. And my mom was like, you're not having this child. And we terminated the child. At the time, I was angry with my mom. I was like, but I could feel, because because I could just feel. And you know, toxic. So I could just also tell good, you know, why is Tata that spirit of Ubabaka? Because hey guys, it was drama. So the last straw was when we had a fight that day. It was an altercation. Who he wanted to go out party with his girlfriend and friends, and what and I was like, no, you're not doing that. I'm leaving with you, number nanny. It's like, you're not going with me. Where you going? Stay home, you sangoma. And I was like, no, I'm going, you know. And and that day was bad because I was trying to defend myself. I was trying to retaliate because ngangi say develop these things, you know. I mean, it was a toxic. I need out. if he loved me before now, he saw everything I went through, and he's still going to disrespect me even post, all of these things. And njengoba manje sengithwasile he's still abusing me, then there is no respect. I came home that day and came in and wept. I came in and wept, and I told my mom everything. And I told my mom everything. And I just told myself that I'm not going back to that relationship. Because I'm gonna be with this person throughout. He was there for me, because the funny thing was that every time we would have an argument or a fight, we didn't see the pattern until Naye he went back to his baba, and his baba told him that the reason all these things are happening is because of this person's, and science delay. So you are walking, not in parallel to what was the agreement between Amadlosi. So it was a toxic situation. So to people that were saying that Amadlosi brought me with this person, but I couldn't stay there. I couldn't stay there. Amadlosi saw the situation. I was not happy. Ukokwa was literally giving me so many ways out, but I was too blind to see those ways out. So it led to this final altercation of me almost losing my life. I could have been left there. I could have been there. Anything could have been happening. But I felt that he didn't care enough. With Abuya's own check food. He left me there, went to pick his friends, took his girlfriend, and whatever he was doing, and the possessiveness and iskwele and the lack of confidence, in him amongst everything else was what was driving force behind all of these things, and it is what it is. So that part of the relationship, valega, and it was not easy because my life was threatened, he was threatening to kill me, he was threatening to find me, and there was no respect, and we lost contact, and we stopped. Everything just came to a halt. But I say involve my parents' way to put your child is threatening our child's life. Do we open a case? What do we do now? Because it's getting out of hand. And that's when our relationship ended. So it fulfilled the Lozi scriptures that he that or she that you are joel with, before you pose and palace it, you guys will not last pose the proofs and palace. So it fulfilled the scriptures. So let's say, find the love of your life with your spiritual journey, because you also need to find yourself as a person. So leading on into 2017, I was now trying to discover myself. Who am I? What is I? Where am I going? And that is when I found myself at a crossroad, that it is now or never. And being nagakhulumi anything about what happened to me Etwatwa, because you given strict rules as into what happens Mpho stays Mpho. And it was one night while I was I basically 2016 2017 I was very badly wounded emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and I didn't know how to go about that. I didn't know I was in a dark place. I would buy a bottle of Mpho. I would finish that bottle. I was a classic and an amber person. I would finish that bottle and that time I'm driving. But ngangi figure ekhaya. Hey, the things that would happen, the things that I would do, they were very crazy now. I would drink ngati angina. I would buy a bottle of Bombay Sapphire. I would drink gangi. Hey, gangi. That Mpho lower secretary good. Then about undertake. I was drinking, but it was getting out of hand. With my mom, I complain about I'm always out, I'm always, drinking. I was that person. I wanted to know what's happening. It's Friday, it's Saturday, and I was thinking I was getting over my breakup. Let me glam up, let me look good, let me do all of these things. And at that time I was in a very dark place. Into Miami, I would come here open and be like, watch it accumulate dust, you know. And I would clean once every 3 months, you know. I was in a dark place, everything piled on, izinto zangivelela. You know, I finally, that day that we had that argument with my mom, and I finally said, I sacrificed my life for all of you. Today I could have completed my teaching degree. I could have done all these things, but now my life is stuck because I'm Uzwagini. And I was, that day, that is when my mom held me and I cried. And that's when our bond went tight, because she now understood. She was like, why weren't you telling me that? You know, she had a picture, but being Mama, this is what happened. We would just joke, but I've never sat down with her and told her that. They knew what I went through, but she never heard it from me. She heard it from my Gobela, she heard it, you know, in passing, but she never heard it from me. Guti, Mom, this is what happened for me from day 1 until day 0, you know. And from that day, I was like, I'm going to let Abogogo, you know, help, you know. I'm saying Fagama beads because, you know, it was protocol, but I was not there. I was not there emotionally. I was not there spiritually. You know, I was so disconnected to Amatluzwane. And 2017 was a turnaround for me. That is when I was like, now I'm going to, you know, start listening to Idlozi more. And
hello, sharp. Eh. Okay, liko kae? Liko sekolong? Okay. Ay, ke busy, ke somewhere. Okay, ke tla mona later.
but when we would go to the Val, we would go to the Val River. We would go to I forgot, 3 rocks, 3 rivers, what, something along those lines. But I remember we would, because Nakovela would book us, would book at I forgot this place. The Val Riviera Hotel, if I'm not mistaken. Somewhere along those lines. But she would make it a constant that Siyahambas. All the time. Okay, my alarm. All right, it's 8 a.m. All right, so we would go to the Val, and so ngabona ukuthi no, let me start my journey, and nami ngijwayeze going to the water, and ngaqala lapho ke sengiyazama ukuphahla, still no word from Idlozi. And you know, I was like, I removed all my beads and I just wore white beads, and not like, this is where we're at, I'm starting over, literally. And it started ringing in my ears, you know, what Idlozi Lami had said, ukuthi, leave umntwanami ahambe, I will take care of things on my own. And it was one fruitful day when I woke up saying Vuga Gedlozi, and my mom was there, thank goodness. And Unkomo literally told my mom that ngicela ukuthi ningasambizi ngoDimpho, mbizeni ngoNkomo. because every time manimbiza ngodimpho niyam disturba spiritually. I am helping her, I'm training her now. My work is about to start. So I am here, present. So make sure that nimbize ngonkomo so that I can really now begin my work. And that was the day I decided to listen to